Hey guys, it's Coach again, and today we're going to do the second installment of what we're calling our 5-minute fix series. Today we're going to go over the grip. Now, grip's very important, but there's a lot of nuance to it, so we're going to just go down the way I've taught people how to grip a gun for a long time. The way I teach grip is first we want to start with your strong hand. We want to place that trigger right there and then work our hand around. So we'll start here with the old SIG P226 clear. All right, and I'm going to start by placing my finger on the trigger, so I'm about halfway down, and I roll this back. I also want to have just a little bit of gap here because you don't want to have your finger all the way up against that, because as you squeeze, sometimes it'll move the muzzle over right as the shot breaks. So we get that good trigger finger placement, roll her around, and we want to get a nice high grip with this hand. Now the strong hand, that's what this one is, it's responsible for front to back pressure. So you're basically trying to get these bones here pressing straight through into the palm of your hand, not gripping with the tips of the fingers. If you grip with the tips of the fingers, then it tends to, you want to grip the whole thing when you shoot, and that'll send your shot usually low left for right-handed shooters. Okay, so the thumb is up so that we can apply our support hand. The best way to do this is just to point your thumb out. You get right there, it's like, okay, that's about as far as that thumb is going to go. So that locks the wrist. If that's painful for you, then adjust a little bit. But the idea here is I want to get as much of this thumb up nice and high, because that's going to give the recoil less leverage against me. Thumb nice and high, marry them up nice and high there, and then the heels of the hands come together and press. Right? So that's what the two are doing. Now this thumb here, from the base to the tip, is all along the frame. You don't really want it up on the slide. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cause a malfunction, but what it will do is might distract you a little bit. We don't want that. Now, a lot of guys, they teach, oh no, you're going to have to get it perfect right down here like this. Well, if I do that, then I don't have enough finger on that trigger. So I have to adjust around. So once I've figured that out by going from the finger around like this, now I've got a little more gap there, but I'm just going to fill that in. I'm just going to roll this thumb back in there so those two fit together like puzzle pieces. All right, so your support hand is in charge of side-to-side pressure. So strong hand pushing front to back, support hand is going to come in, and that side-to-side pressure, that's what's going to push these fingertips down and crush them down. All right, so support hand's got one job: crush down, fill in those gaps. Call this the cinch grip, where I'm going to be pushing. With all this right here is going to be pushing on the frame this way, and I want you to push back, roll it back with this knuckle here. Don't grip down with the thumb, because as soon as you grip down with the strong hand thumb, that keys these to grip too. Okay, and that's going to cause the geometry of your hand to change right as that shot breaks. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the sights lined up as we squeeze that trigger. Now, squeezing the trigger, let's talk about that. What you want to do is pull straight back from this knuckle here, like that, right? So a lot of people can't do that because you've been doing this your whole life and nobody isolates this for any good reason, right? So I have an exercise that I like to teach people that will help you figure that out and maybe stretch the tendons and ligaments and retrain the muscles. So what you do is you take your support hand finger and just stick it out like that, put the thumb over the top, get about a 90 degree in here. This represents the trigger. And put that pad right there, about 90 degrees. Now when I push back, see how it forms a bow here? Okay. Now, if you do it other way, see how that's putting lateral pressure on that trigger, which will move the muzzle right as the shot breaks. So just by doing this and practicing that, that'll help get that stretch there. The other thing, as you're actually pulling the trigger on the gun, you want to think about this knuckle coming back to the back of this hand, not curling over like this, but coming back to the back of the hand. See how it works? All right. If you can think about that, that usually helps you on the range, get you a nice, smooth, straight back trigger pull. And we're going to talk about the wrists. All right. Your strong hand wrist has to be tight, so you're going to be able to grip and feel these tendons kind of sticking out, but you're just pulling straight back like this. These fingers are not engaged. We want to engage those. We're going to flatten them out with the support hand wrist. Now that one's locked, and we're locked in here. We're pressing these two together. During recoil, if this one's locked and this one's relaxed and loose, what's going to happen is the gun's going to come back, and you see how my grip's breaking? If I keep them locked in and absorb the recoil shock with my elbows, then everything stays the same, my grip stays the same, and my sights will snap right back on target. And it'll give you a much faster follow-up shot. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the amount of pressure that you're going to apply with both hands. So you get your good grip, nice high grip, no gaps in there, a little cinch grip on there. Now I'm going to grip as hard as I can with this hand and as hard as I can with the support hand until it starts shaking. All right, now I'm going to back off on my strong hand until it stops shaking. What that's going to do, it's going to allow my trigger finger to move quicker. Okay? If I grip my hand really hard and then try and move my finger quick, it doesn't happen. But if I loosen up a little bit, it moves a lot better. So all we're doing, we want to have the maximum amount of pressure in that grip, but then back it off until your trigger finger can move smoothly. All right, guys, so that's quick down and dirty on the grip. That's what your strong hand's doing, your support hand's doing, your wrists, and how much pressure to put on there. So those are the major takeaways that I want you to get from this video. Now, if you like this content, like, subscribe, leave me some comments, try the techniques. I'd also like to take a moment and say thank you to the Patreon subscribers. We can't do this without your support. It really means a lot. And as always, remember, train hard and stay ready.